One of the pro members dropped a link in the Discord recently, said the intro animation on it looked interesting and it turned out to be worth a look. Here's what happens. The page loads with a preloader covering the screen, and there are 4 things moving at once inside it. A counter ticking up from 0 in the corner, the copy under the brand name that keeps swapping out for a different one, a small image traveling across from the edge, and that image is cycling through a whole stack of visuals while it moves. As the counter reaches 100, it all lands together. The preloader wipes off the screen, the headings slide in from opposite sides, and that same small image expands out to fill the entire viewport sitting behind the text. 4 separate things, 4 different jobs, all finishing on the same frame. Pro member picks get priority whenever I can pull it off, so I rebuilt the concept with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, driven by GSAP along with split text and custom ease, and the whole thing runs on one timeline. The counter, the traveling image, the photo cycling, the preloader exit, the hero coming in behind it. Every piece sits on that single timeline, timed against each other, which is what keeps them landing together instead of drifting apart. Over the course of the video, I'll take you through the full build, starting with the markup, then the styling, and then the animation logic that ties it together. If you'd like to grab the source code for this project, along with hundreds of other micro projects, and a brand new website template every month, you can check out the Pro membership via the link in the description. And if you find my work helpful, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Alright, let's get into the code. First of all, we'll lay down the 3 top-level pieces of the page, a div with a class of preloader, which is the full screen overlay that covers everything while the page loads, then a nav element underneath it, and then a section with a class of hero, which is the page that gets revealed once the preloader clears out. Next, let's start with the preloader. Inside it, we'll add 2 divs, one with a class of preloader header, which sits at the top of the screen, and one with a class of preloader footer, which sits at the bottom. Then, inside the preloader header, we'll add 2 more divs, both with a class of preloader header row. The first row holds an H1 with our brand name. The second row holds another H1 with the word Studios. That second word is the one that keeps rewriting itself while the counter runs, and we'll swap it out from the script later. Next, the preloader footer. Inside it, we'll add a div with a class of preloader-counter holding an H1 with the zeros. This is the counter that climbs up to 100. Then right next to it, a div with a class of preloader footer copy holding a paragraph with a short line of text, and that's the preloader done. Next, let's build the nav. Inside the nav element, we'll add 2 divs. First, one with a class of nav logo and another one with a class of nav toggler holding a paragraph that says menu. Nothing complicated here. This whole thing slides down into view once the preloader is gone. Next, the hero section. Inside it, we'll add 2 divs, one with the class of hero header, which holds the main headline, and one with the class of hero footer for a short line of copy at the bottom. Then, inside the hero header, we'll add 3 divs, each with a class of hero header row. These are the 3 lines of our headline, stacked one above another, and each one animates in from a different direction later. Next, let's fill those rows. The first row gets an H1 that reads everything. We'll leave the second row empty for a moment, and the third row gets an H1 that reads the surface. Now for the second row, which is the interesting one, it gets an H1 that reads beneath, and then right after it, inside that frame, we'll also add 10 image tags, pointing to image 1 all the way through image 10. Now, you might be wondering why we're putting all 10 images in the markup instead of just swapping the source with JavaScript. And the reason is that if we swap the source, the browser would have to fetch and decode a new file every single time, and you'd get a visible flash on every change. By stacking all 10 in the markup and just toggling their opacity, everything is already loaded and decoded before the animation starts, so the swap happens instantly with nothing to wait on. And finally, the hero footer. Inside it, we'll add a paragraph with a short line of copy that fades in at the very end, and that's the markup done. Next, let's get to the styling. First of all, the housekeeping. We pull in our font, run a quick universal reset, and then set that font on the body along with a white background. That background matters more than it looks because we're running a blend mode on the text later, and blend modes need something defined underneath to blend against. Next, the shared type styles. The headings and paragraphs both get uppercased, a medium weight, tight letter spacing, and a line height pulled below 1, since we want the big type sitting close together. Then the heading gets its own size using clamp, so it scales fluidly across every screen. Next, the nav. We fix it to the top, full width with padding, and lay it out as a flex row with space between, pushing the logo one way and the menu label the other. Then we set the color to white and apply mix blend mode difference. That's what lets the nav read against anything behind it. Light over dark areas and dark over light ones, which matters once the image expands out underneath, and will change on transform since it slides down later. Next, the section. Position relative, full width and full viewport tall, with padding and flex with align items, flex end, so the hero content sits at the bottom. Then the hero header, positioned relatively at full width, laid out as a flex column, so the 3 rows stack. Each row gets a flex value of 1, which means all 3 share the height evenly no matter the screen size, and becomes a flex row itself with a line item center. Then, using nth child, the first and third rows get justify content flex end, pushing those headings to the right while the middle one stays left, and the second row gets a gap for the spacing between the heading and the image next to it. The headings themselves get white text with that same mix blend mode difference. Now the hero header image, the frame that travels and expands, position relative, flex shrink 0 so it never gets squeezed, and then an explicit width and height. That explicit height is important because otherwise the box would size itself from whatever image loaded first, and we need a stable value for the expansion later. Plus will change on transform and a higher z index. Next, the images inside it, all absolutely positioned at the top left, filling the frame with object fit cover so they crop instead of stretch. They start at 0 opacity with will change on opacity since these 10 are toggling constantly. Then, nth child sets the first one visible so there's something on screen from the start. Next, the hero footer, absolutely positioned in the bottom left. Its paragraph gets white text. The same blend mode will change on opacity and starts transparent. Now the preloader, fixed to the top left, full width and full viewport tall, dark background with white text, laid out as a flex column with space between so its header and footer push apart. Then the clip path is set to a full rectangle, which means it starts completely visible. That's what we animate to wipe it away, so we'll change on clip path and a z index of 2 so it sits above everything. Inside it, the header is a flex column so its rows stack, and each row is a flex row. Then, nth child pushes the second row to flex end, sending that changing word over to the right edge. The footer is a flex row with space between and a line items flex end, so the counter and copy sit at opposite corners. And we group the header, counter and footer copy together with will change on opacity since all 3 fade out at once. Next, one small rule that's easy to miss. We add a class called word with position relative and will change on transform. We never wrote this in our markup because GSAP creates these for us when we split the headings apart. Every individual word ends up inside one, and they need to be positioned to move independently. And finally, a responsive tweak. On narrower screens, we shrink the image frame down and lift the footer up from the bottom edge so it clears the image once it expands. And that's the styling done. Everything's positioned and primed, the preloader sitting over the top with its clip path ready to wipe, the images stacked with only the first one showing, and the hero waiting underneath. Next, we'll jump into the JavaScript and bring the whole thing to life. First of all, we'll register our plugins, split text for breaking the headings into individual words, and custom ease, which lets us define our own easing curve. Then we create that curve and call it hop. Those 4 numbers describe a Bezier curve that accelerates hard and then breaks sharply at the end, and we'll reuse it on the preloader wipe and the image expansion. Next, an array called rotating words, holding the 5 words that cycle underneath the brand name while the preloader runs. Then we'll grab our elements. First, the preloader itself, the heading inside the counter, and the heading in the second header row, which is the one that keeps rewriting itself. Then the hero elements using GSAPs to array utility, which takes the selector and hands us back a proper array to loop over. So all 3 hero rows, all 3 headings inside them, the image frame, and the 10 images inside that frame. Now here's a part worth pausing on. We create 3 plain objects, one for the counter, one for the word cycle, one for the image cycle, each holding a single property called progress, starting at 0. These aren't elements, they're just objects holding a number, and GSAP can animate any property on any object, not only DOM elements. So we'll tween these numbers up to a target, and on every frame read the current value and use it to update the page ourselves. That's how we drive a counter and cycle an array without GSAP touching the DOM directly. then 2 trackers, active word and active image, which remember what's currently on screen. You'll see why in a second. Next, we split the headings. We map over the 3 headings and run split text on each, splitting by words and giving every word that word class we styled earlier. And this line here is the important one, mask, set to words. It wraps each word in its own container with overflow hidden, so we don't have to write any extra markup or CSS to get that clipping effect. Each word can now slide out from behind its own edge. Then we loop over the splits and set the starting positions. Using the row index, the middle row gets pushed right by its own width, and the outer 2 get pushed left, which gives us that alternating entrance. Next, we push the nav up out of view so it can drop down later. Now the measurement, we want the image frame to start at the left edge with matching padding, but that padding is in rem units, and JavaScript needs pixels, so we read the root font size to find out what 1 rem currently equals. Multiply our padding by it, then subtract the frame's current distance from the left of the screen. What's left is exactly how far it needs to shift. Then we apply it immediately with a set. This matters because if we only set it inside the tween, the frame would sit in its natural spot during the delay and then jump left the instant the timeline started. Next, the functions that update things on screen. First, render counter. We round the progress, write it into the counter, and pad it to 3 characters, so 7 displays as 007. Then render word. We round the progress to get an index, but before using it, we check whether it matches the active word and return early if it does. That guard is doing real work. This fires around 60 times a second, but the index only changes 4 times across the whole 3 seconds. Without the check, we'd be rewriting identical text hundreds of times for nothing. Next, render image. Same idea, plus 1 addition. We run the rounded progress through a modulo against the number of images. Modulo gives you the remainder after division, so it wraps the number back around. A count running from 0 to 29 maps down to 0 through 9, 3 times over. That's how the images loop through the full set 3 times inside a single tween. Then the same guard, and if it changed, we set the matching image to full opacity and everything else to 0. Now the last function, which expands the image to full screen. It has 2 steps and the order matters. First, we loop over the hero rows and lock their heights, reading each one's current height and setting it explicitly along with flex none. Here's why. Those rows use flex 1, so they split the height between them, and we're about to pull the image frame out of the document flow, which means the middle row suddenly loses its tallest child. Without this lock, all 3 rows would recalculate and the headings would visibly jump. Then we measure the frame's exact position and set it to fixed at precisely those coordinates with precisely that size. We also reset x and y to 0 since the frame still carries its travel transform, and drop the z index to -1 so it goes behind the text. Because we've pinned it to the same values it already occupied, the switch is completely invisible, and then we animate it, top and left to 0, width and height out to the full window using our hoppies. Next, we'll put the whole sequence together on the timeline. First of all, we create our master timeline with a small delay on it so nothing kicks off the very instant the page loads. Everything from here gets stacked onto this one timeline. Next, the counter. We tween our counter object's progress from 0 up to 100 over 3 seconds with no easing so it climbs at a perfectly steady rate, and we hand it render counter as its onUpdate callback. So every frame, GSAP nudges that number forward and our function writes it onto the screen. Then the traveling image. We animate the frame's X back to 0 over the same 3 seconds, again with no easing, and notice this 0 at the end. That's the position parameter, and it tells GSAP to start this tween at the very beginning of the timeline instead of queuing it after the counter, which means both of these are now running together. Next, the changing word. We tween the word cycle's progress up to the array length -1, so with 5 words, we land exactly on the last index over the same 3 seconds, calling render word onUpdate, and again position 0, so it runs alongside everything else. Then the image cycling, same setup, except this one runs up to the image count times 3 minus 1. That's what gives us 30 steps instead of 10, and since render image wraps that number with modulo, we get 3 complete passes through all 10 photos, also at position 0, so that's 4 tweens all starting at the same moment, all running for the same 3 seconds, all with no easing. Next, the preloader starts leaving. We fade out the header, the counter, and the footer copy together, and here we're using a relative position, which tells GSAP to wait a short beat after the previous tween finishes before starting this one. That little pause lets the counter sit on 100 for a moment before anything moves. Then, the wipe itself. We animate the preloader's clip path, collapsing the bottom edge up to meet the top, so the whole panel peels off the top of the screen. We use our hoppies here for that sharp, decisive motion, and on complete, we remove the preloader from the DOM entirely, since there's no reason to leave a full screen element sitting there once it's done. Next, the hero content. We animate the words back to 0, sliding them out from behind their masks. And notice this negative position value, which pulls the tween backwards, so it overlaps the tail of the wipe. Without it, the words would sit and wait for the preloader to completely finish. Instead, they start rising while the panel is still clearing, and the two motions read as one continuous move rather than two separate ones. Then, on complete, this is where we fire that expansion function we wrote earlier. And finally, the footer and the nav. The footer copy fades in, and the nav slides back down into place. Both use the less than symbol as their position, which just means start at the same time as the previous tween. So the words, the footer, and the nav all arrive together, and that's the whole build. The counter climbs while the image travels and cycles through its photos. Everything blends together, the preloader wipes away, and the hero slides in as that same small image expands out to fill the screen behind it. All of it running off a single timeline from start to finish. Hope you found this one useful, and I'll catch you in the next one.